Hi everyone, I'm Holly from Nottinghamshire. I'm 28 years old and I have two children and a wonderful fiance. If you've come across this YouTube channel, it means that you've had a child who's diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. And my sort of take on things of why I'm starting this is to help you understand the world of CF and understand a new child being diagnosed with cystic fibrosis. I really hope that you find it helpful. I'm going to be doing a lot of shorter videos explaining little things that I found that I didn't understand coming into the CF world. Even though I do have history with cystic fibrosis, I know where it is in my side of the family. I still didn't understand the actual scientific side of things and the health side of things very much, and what goes on in our day-to-day lives. My little CFer is now 16 months old. It's just flying by and it seems like a whirlwind of a time so far, including being born in a pandemic, which has just added stress on its own. But my thoughts for this channel is to provide support, to provide information, comfort, somewhere for people to let off steam and know, most importantly, that you are not on your own. When Amelia was first diagnosed, that was something that really played a part in my mental health, was that I thought that nobody understood, only I understood, nobody got it. I felt so lonely, my friends, my family, not through any fault of anybody's, but it just felt like nobody understood. Until you walk in the shoes of a CF family, you do not know what the day-to-day life is like, and I hope that I provide some kind of support and in knowing that you're not alone. Amelia's first was diagnosed at 2 weeks old via the heel prick test. Before this, I actually did notice a few things was different, but never really put two and two together, because I have a 4-year-old as well with my partner, so I didn't actually understand the chances of having a child born with cystic fibrosis. I didn't understand the 1 in 4, I didn't understand the carrier thing, I just didn't understand it. Even though it was in my family, I just never explored that, and because we'd got Alfie, I thought, phew, it's fine. I just thought you have to have 2 carriers and you will instantly make a CF baby if you're both a carrier of the faulty gene. And that's not the case. So again, speaking to all of the CF community, I do have an Instagram page that I connect with other people in the community with. I'm seeing everybody else's stories. People don't even know it's in their families for 50 generations. It just appears. And it's that 25% chance, that 1 in 4, that you have a baby born with cystic fibrosis when 2 carriers come together. And sometimes both parents don't even know that they're carriers. I mean, I didn't know for sure, but I knew there could be a chance. Again, it was quite naive of me to kind of think that, but when you're not aware of things, that's when it kind of crops up. And I feel like now, being in the community, I can now say, if you do have CF in your family, it is worth getting checked out and it's worth learning about it. So yeah, that was kind of that. Like I say, there was things that was cropping up, and speaking to the CF community and looking at other people's stories, there's a few things that crop up to do with CF when babies are first born. There's a lot of there's bowel obstruction, twisted bowel, and with Amelia, there was no signs in the pregnancy really. They just said that she got a big tummy, and they kept an eye on it through scans, and there was a few sort of not growth issues, but I just kept having to have growth scans, and I just thought, because I had an emergency cesarean with Alfie, my first, I just thought they were being cautious, and I was all fine with that. I'd rather them keep checking, and obviously the nice thing of keep seeing your baby, and every 4 weeks, literally every month I was being scanned, especially towards the end of the pregnancy. And then I went on to have a planned C-section. Through, to be fair, they kind of wanted me to have a cesarean, and I was like, well, if I can go natural, can I not just try? And they was kind of like, no. But they never really told me the reasons why. They just said, we would prefer you to have another cesarean. So yeah, so I ended up having a planned cesarean. And when she came out, she was absolutely, the white, it's called something, I think it's called like verse something. She was covered in it. It was absolutely thick. The midwife turned around to me and said, in my 25 years, I have never seen a baby that thick. I think it's called vortex, something like that. Vert something, I know it's a V. The white stuff. That apparently is really good moisturising, so they don't wipe it off. But with her, she was that thick with it. She could barely rub it off. Literally, she was like, I'm struggling to get the white off of her enough, you know, so we can leave a little bit on, but she was thick with it. It was nuts. So that was kind of one thing that sprung to mind afterwards, that I thought, I wonder if that's the whole thickness, mucusy type thing, maybe. Because Alfie was definitely not like that. So there was that. And then obviously with the pandemic, my partner had to leave after 4 hours of my observations and things. So we went to the ward, he went home, and literally Amelia was bottle, poop, bottle, poop. But it was constant. It wasn't a break. And she had this funny rattle. Because she's a C-section baby, apparently that happens a lot, which I didn't actually know that. Until I had Alfie, and he had a little bit of a rattle, and they said, oh, it's okay, you know, it's because he's not been pushed through the birth canal to squeeze all of the gunk out. Excuse the scientific term. To squeeze all the gunk out. And so yeah, so they just kind of have to bring it up themselves, and you know, as long as it's not too bad, then it's fine. So I was like, okay. So then she got this rattle, she was doing the same, and I thought, you know what, it's just because she's a C-section baby, you know, this happened last time. But the feeding, that was what I thought, there's something wrong, like, why is she constantly feeding? Alfie had, I breastfed his first feed, and he slept for 12 hours, but she was constant. She was always awake, she was always gnawing, she was always like, oh, like wanting food. I was like, this is not normal. She was pooping. The midwife had to change her because obviously I couldn't move at that point. Had to change her, and it was like when she was wiping her, it was just like stimulating her, and it was just coming out. I mean, you know, it's a good thing because a lot of CF babies are born and they don't even pass that first poop. So then it causes other issues. So in that sense, I could tell that there was something not quite right, but I was just happy that she was here, and you're just kind of in this baby bubble, and you look forward and you're just like, oh my God, I've got a girl, because obviously Alfie's a boy. I've got a girl, you know, I can put all these pretty little clothes on her, pink, and you know, I was like, just love it, literally in that bubble of a newborn baby. And then obviously it took one nurse to come in, so we'd gone all through the night of her constantly feeding, constantly pooping. She passed all of her newborn tests, all the hip thing and all that jazz, passed all of that. And then this one nurse, literally they did the handover, she came in and she said, has she been rattling like that all night? And I was like, yeah, she's been like that all night. One of the nurses just said, oh, just keep an eye on it. If it gets worse, then, you know, she might need some antibiotics or something. And she was like, yeah, that's not right. And she was the one who flagged it up. And I was like, oh, okay. So this could be something wrong. Anyway, heard nothing else about that. We went home the day after, and so we got home. She was constantly feeding still, every hour, literally. She was finishing a bottle, but those pre-made bottles, she was nailing like half of it, and that's just not normal for a newborn. Newborns' stomachs are tiny, so she shouldn't have been drinking that much or needing that much constantly. But they was like, if she wants it, give it her. Okay, that's fine, I'll do that. So we did that, and then I thought maybe when we get home, change to powdered milk. It might be a bit thicker than the pre-made ones, because you know, you hear so many things on social media, and you try everything and every avenue, and I'm that kind of person before I think there's something majorly wrong. So we did that, and she seemed to go sort of another half an hour longer than she was going, so I was like, okay, maybe it is that. The midwife came, day 5, she did the heel prick test, asked me if anybody in the family had got the 8 serious health illnesses, conditions on the list, and I said, yeah, I've definitely got it in my side of the family. And she said to me, has Alfie got any? And I said no. She went, oh, you should be fine then. So that just kind of put me at ease, and like I said, you know, Amelia is constantly feeding, you know, is there anything that we can do? And she says, try giving her water between, cool boiled water. Oh, okay. So we tried that, and she was spitting the water out, which I don't blame her. And I feel absolutely terrible, because in the beginning, obviously because we didn't know, she probably was, well, she dropped her birth weight below her birth weight, which again is normal, and they kept telling me it's normal, and I was like, okay. Again, Alfie didn't, and I know every baby's different, but I was like, okay. And then 2 weeks after, so I got a phone call from our clinic at our local hospital. Is that Holly? I was like, yeah. And they was like, we need you to come in. This was the Thursday. We need you to come in tomorrow to discuss Amelia's heel prick test. Instantly, what was on that list? It clicked. And as a mum, I just knew what it was. I just knew it. And everybody kept saying, maybe they've got her details wrong. Maybe I don't know, there's something else that they found. I'm like, I'm telling you, she's got CF. Literally. I'm telling you now. Obviously, I was absolutely distraught, but everybody was kind of, you know, trying to calm me down and just say, you know, come on, it's tomorrow, don't worry about it tomorrow. And to make everything worse was my partner was up in Scotland working overnight, and he couldn't get to the appointment in the morning, so I had to go on my own. And they said to me on the phone, this is the height of the pandemic, by the way. So in most hospitals it was one person per appointment, but they was like, bring somebody with you. You're gonna, you know, is Dad around? It's like, Dad's not here, he's at work and he can't get to the appointment physically. And they was kind of like, okay, bring somebody with you. We don't care who it is, bring somebody. So, I mean, I just wanted to just go on my own, because I think I'd have been able to process it better, to then process and then explain to my partner. There wasn't even really a choice of us like phoning him or anything, because I kind of had, I think I did try and mask it and kind of just knock it off as, oh yeah, you know, it'll be fine. I can just tell him what they say after. So he was fine with that. He was like, yeah, just ring me straight away and let me know what's cracking. So as I was greeted by a respiratory nurse. Again, I'd been told nothing over the phone. She wasn't allowed to tell me anything over the phone, which is fine. But all night, I was literally Googling symptoms of CF, newborn. Amelia was matching a lot of them. Ooh. So then then I was met by the respiratory nurse, and I again instantly put two and two together. I was preparing for them to turn around to me and say she's got cystic fibrosis, but even still, that niggle in the back of my brain, I'd convinced myself it wasn't that. It was really weird, but I knew, I don't even know if that even makes any sense. So after that, I had the appointment. I was very upset. Obviously, you're told all this information. Have you heard of cystic fibrosis? Yes, I have. It is in my family, like I say. So I've got a second cousin who's in Ireland with cystic fibrosis. He's older now. And then I have a cousin, with a trigger warning in this, who lost her battle at 21 with cystic fibrosis. Actually, she was 22. Yeah, she was 22, because I was about 20 at the time. So I've seen both sides, and we used to go on holiday together, we used to have sleepovers, seeing her physio and medication, but until you are the immediate mum, dad, CFer, brother, sister, you don't understand. You still don't understand. And back then, she would have been 31 now. Back then, there wasn't as much knowledge as there is now. And this is why I feel like I can talk from part of that, because of talking to family members, my auntie and my uncle, about her, and and about the care back then, and they was allowed to meet each other, and of course now they're not allowed to meet because of cross-infection rules, and I will do all the videos on that, about explaining everything. But this is why I feel like it's so important to have the support and give the knowledge of a new diagnosis, because you're in such a whirlwind of just having a baby diagnosed. You thought you was going that way, now you feel like you're going that way, and you are grieving a loss that's still here, because you see a life. When you're pregnant, when you're expecting a baby, you see a life. You see, oh, I can't wait to take them swimming. I can't wait to take them on holiday abroad, in this country, wherever. I can't wait to do this and that. Take them to the play centre, go to all these baby groups, do all of this, do all of that. You have that life in your brain and in your mind. You've already prepared yourself for this baby coming, and you have no clue that this is about to just bomb straight into your life. And that's why I want to support others, because it's like you are grieving. It's really, really weird, and I can't explain it any other way. But I hope that sharing my story and being able to kind of break everything down. Yeah, so you are grieving this life you thought you was going to have, and you're going to have to do a little bit of bending on that life now. We've added extras: physio, medication, hospital trips, appointments, dealing with pharmacies, making up medication. You're now going to become a carer as well as a mum and a dad. Like I say, whether it's your first baby or 10th baby, it still hits you. So yeah, this is why I want to do this, and this is why I want to break it down, because there were so many things flying at you, and then I immediately started looking social media groups. Then I started scrolling. They've lost their life, they've done this, they're going through this, oh my god, are we going to go through this? And it adds to your anxiety, and it adds to your mental state. Some days, even now, I still have bad days. I came off social media just yesterday because it was too much, and I just needed a break to sit back and think, okay, where am I right this second? I am at home, I've got my children, we are safe, Amelia is safe. You know, I'm not trying to look too far in advance at what our life could be like growing up, because it is a progressive thing. We also have other factors that are coming into the CF world with the life-changing drug Kaftrio or Cambi, and for those 10% mutations that aren't able to have that, I'm hopeful that soon in the future, when our baby's born now with that, are going to be able to have a longer life. I mean, just this year in 2022 started off with babies born 2020 and above have a average life expectancy of over 50. It's still not great, but it is so much better than it used to be. There's more hope, you know. Of course, you could meet other bumps along the way, and it's not for everybody, but I feel like if I was guided to the right place and not focused on the negative straight away, because obviously my personal experience with CF, that's where my head instantly went, you know, but then I have to look at the other side, who's my cousin, and he's in his mid-50s, you know. So it really is, I just want to break things down, and like they talk in lingo and cough swabs, and like I say, they're all lingo, and you're like, what are you on about? Doctors and nurses probably have to do this, you know, they deal with CF on a regular basis wherever you are, what hospital you're at. Some less than others, but they will always revert back to the big hospitals. You'll always have, like Amelia, we are at Kingsmill Hospital, but we see the big hospital in the East Midlands twice a year. But it's not to say that Kingsmill are any less. The team are absolutely amazing, and they've become like a second family. But she will also see another team that's also like a backup team that have a big CF community, and they have a lot of knowledge on CF. So yeah, it's like I say, it's such a whirlwind, and I hope that these little short videos can be about 25 minutes long, are going to provide some kind of support, and like I say, to know that you're not alone. And I will do my absolute best to explain little things that are coming along, that we found along the way. Like I say, Amelia was born in 2020, which is an absolute pinnacle year, because Kaftrio came onto the scene in 2019 and started changing lives, you know. So yeah, I hope to provide some kind of support and positiveness, and try and steer the way to make it a little bit easier. Thank you for watching.